now.
I ain't bothered.
What?
I ain't bothered.
You aren't bothered?
It's Catherine Tate skit thing.
Okay. Oh yeah, the one with Tennant and.
Actually, she does that skit
In her
pretty.
in her comedy
It's
routine?
actually it's part of her routine, but yeah.
Okay, because that's the only time I remember seeing it was when they did that comedy relief special.
She had her own. Yeah, she had her own show called The Catherine Tate Show, and it was kind of Mad TV type thing where it was a bunch of little sketches, and Lauren Cooper was one of her characters. And I ain't bothered was her catchphrase.
Yeah. I only know it through that little comedy relief sketch with her Tennant. She was great.
She was.
I love me some Donna.
That New Who companion.
Yeah, she's definitely way up the list. It's like, yeah, I'm not sure where I'd put her, but you know, it's like she's definitely, there's like a sea of sort of okay companions, and then there's Donna.
Yeah. The only ones who really matched Donna as far as awesomeness were basically the 12th Doctor companions.
The Ponds, Amy and Rory. What?
Bill and Clara. The 12th Doctor.
12, sorry. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Well, yeah. I didn't like them as much as I liked Amy and Rory. But
I liked Rory.
I wasn't a big fan of Clara.
I meant Bill mostly.
Oh, just Bill? Okay. Bill's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Bill. Just didn't, you know. She had some of the same sort of, you know, sassy, I'm not afraid to tell the Doctor when he's being an idiot sort of situation. She has that same sort of thing as sort of Donna had, but she's not quite as funny as Donna. She's not quite as good, but again, that generally, yeah, Bill was okay, but I was not a fan of Clara, but I liked Amy and I liked the Ponds, and I liked Donna.
I didn't like Amy as much, mostly because she came off too, I don't want to say skanky, but you know, that thing with my boys just kind of annoyed me. So it's like, yeah, they're both mine.
But yeah, I don't think they haven't had a bad companion in the New Who. I don't think there's been a bad companion. There's been okay companions, and then there's been a few good companions.
The only bad companion the Doctor has ever had was Mel.
What?
The only bad companion the Doctor ever had was Mel.
Mel?
Melanie Bush.
Okay.
6th Doctor companion. Atrocious little.
Yeah. Don't know Classic Who as well, but yeah, I mean, I can with some certainty say, yeah, New Who, the ones I've actually seen every New Who, I think they've all been okay, at least okay, and some of them have been brilliant. But I think everybody who's a Doctor Who fan, I guess not everybody, but a lot of people would agree, Donna was pretty cool.
Yeah, Donna was probably one of the best overall companions, not to mention the New Who.
Yeah, well, she's just, well, it's Catherine Tate, so she's funny. She's funny, and she knows how to Space Boy, Earth Girl. That was such a great interaction between her and Tennant. It was just, the chemistry was fantastic.
You know, she is Magica LaSpelle in the new DuckTales.
No, I haven't really been. I knew Tennant was Scrooge, which is interesting to hear his Scottish accent come through, but his natural Scottish accent. But
Catherine Tate is Magica.
Okay.
Well, I saw a short clip of the DuckTales, and there's like, wait, you're Kelpie.
Yes, they actually had, although they were opposite colors, they had Tara Strong and Andrea Liebman in DuckTales as ponies.
It's like, you're the most unfun victims ever.
And a pink and a purple Kelpie pony who kept trying to lure them into the water to drown them.
It was awesome.
It was.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Fluttershy, why are you trying to kill them?
Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie.
But yeah.
Twilight and Pinkie Pie color swapped.
Yes, because I had to get it just a little bit off so that, it's like, Hasbro doesn't shake their finger.
Mm-hmm.
So my question,
I know I see what you did there, but I'm not happy about it.
My question about this unit is the master that's in it. That's the same one that the Doctor ran into like a billion years in the future, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the same one. This is the War Master. This is before he becomes Yana.
Okay.
Which is interesting to see a master show up in this, because mostly they've been pretty. You get this sort of anybody that what's his name, the one who plays Daleks and Cybermen. You get him in there, you can have Cybermen and Daleks all day.
Nick Briggs.
Yeah, Nick Briggs. You can have.
He plays most of the monsters, but also he is one of the main people in charge of Big Finish.
Yeah, so you can have him all day because he's there anyway. So, but
they actually do have a War Master series.
Yeah.
Which I accidentally got the wrong second of it, so I need to have enough money and buy the first one so I can listen to the second one.
Well, then you'll have a ton of content all at once.
Yes, I will.
But
I do have a ton of content to listen to.
Yeah.
Also a really good one they did was they have only one story so far. It's a box set of the Doctor's daughter. Jenny has her own series. Jenny has her own series.
Yes. The Doctor's daughter who had the Doctor's daughter.
Yep. And she actually was the Doctor's daughter because isn't she
fifth? She's fifth Doctor's the guy Peter Davidson's daughter who married
the Doctor's daughter married the Doctor.
Who married Tennant, who was the 10th Doctor, and was also played the Doctor's daughter. But it was Ten's daughter. The same person.
She basically married her character's father.
Yes. Yeah, and her father's. She basically married her father's character's future incarnation.
Yeah.
It gets pronouns get confusing confusing, and terminology get confusing when you start getting into that whole situation.
Yeah, that's one of those. Okay then.
But, and then she had a kid, I think. So that kid is the doctor's daughter and the doctor's granddaughter, and the daughter of the doctor's daughter.
Oh, my head hurts.
I think she had a kid, but they had a daughter. But yeah, I'll look that up.
My
Start talking about the episode
grandpa.
It's like that time travel thing. It's like, don't think about it too hard, or your eyes will go cross-eyed.
It's wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
4 children. Tennant has 4 children. I assume that. Yeah.
Georgia Moffat.
Yeah. I was seeing if it was all by Georgia Moffat. It looks like, yeah. The 4 children, including Moffat's child. Including Moffat's child from a previous relationship, whom Tennant adopted. So, yes.
Wow.
So they have 3 kids of their own, and Tennant has sort of adopted Georgia Moffat's kid from a previous relationship. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and they got married in 2011, so it's not that crazy.
That's not that long ago.
Yeah, but it's not, it's not just, ridiculous.
Well, the doctor knows how to get down with that screwdriver.
But yes, he has 3 children. They have 3 children together, plus hers from a previous relationship that he's adopted into their one whole family. But yeah, getting back to the show proper that we're supposed to be reviewing, and not just talking about David Tennant and Georgia Moffat's personal life, and trying not to get a headache from talking about the doctor's daughter. So
the doctor's daughter with the doctors.
Yeah, anyway, she's her own aunt. Anyway, but getting back to Master of Worlds, or that's what it is? Yes, Master of Worlds. Yes, help from, and we apparently find out that while the Master has a TARDIS, he also likes leaving the brake on.
Apparently.
They all do. Nobody actually got driving instructions because they're all dropouts who must have stolen their TARDISes. Because the doctor stole his Type 40.
Yeah.
And he was exiled initially because he stole it, and the Master was exiled initially for trying to take over the universe, and the Rani was exiled because of a science experiment where her pet rat, or her lab rat, grew mammoth and ate the president's cat.
It seems a little bit lower on the scale of things than trying to take over the universe and stealing a TARDIS.
Oh my god.
Though it could be argued, since the TARDIS was sentient, that the TARDIS stole the Doctor.
Well, she says she stole the Doctor.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you didn't steal me, I stole you. I wanted to go places, I was stuck there, so I stole you. I stole a Time Lord so I could go places.
Yep. I needed a designated driver.
But but yes, though it is funny that River is the only one who knows how to land one of those things without making any noise.
True.
Even though I guess when the Doctor taught her. He actually taught her the proper way. It's a do as I say, not as I do situation.
He likes the noise. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, it was a do as I say, not as I do. This is how you actually properly land it. I like to leave the brake on. Because it makes a cool sound. You're 1,000 years old and you still act like a juvenile.
Yep.
And he still looks like one in some cases.
It depends on the situation in the incarnation. But
I was talking about Matt Smith.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. He was the youngest Doctor, so he probably will be for a while. I think, or was Whitaker's older than him, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I thought so. But yeah, he probably will be the youngest Doctor for a while.
Before him, it was Davidson was the youngest Doctor.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it took from 5 to 11 to get to another young Doctor. But yeah, that'll probably stand for a while. And see, I always forget which way it goes. The eldest was Capaldi older?
I don't remember. I want to say that.
Or did he start? He started younger but ended older. Or something like that.
Well, he was there for longer, but IMDb is my friend.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I
doesn't
think it
matter.
was Hartnell.
What?
I think Hartnell was older.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those are going to be... It's going to be a while before we have a Doctor probably as old as Capaldi and Hartnell were, too. They probably have gone, okay, we got our young guy in Smith, we got an older guy in Capaldi, now let's balance it out with some people that are in between ages. Let's get some 30-somethings in here.
And then they're going to have a Doctor that's like 5 years old.
If they do, it'll have to be for like a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have to go off and do something else and then come back and be, another actor to play the Doctor as a reasonable adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't really talked much about the episode in total. The Master takes over the Cybermen. That's wow.
That is something.
Yep. I like this Master. He's got sass.
And he's not completely evil.
Well, he kind of, but
well, not. He's evil, but not completely evil. He can be. If it's within, he's more opportunistic in a way. It's like, yes, I need my TARDIS back. You want to do that? Let's work. We'll work together and deal with this. But it is one of those times you don't see it very much in the narrative of, one of the weird things about time travel is, sometimes things happen out of order, and it would be interesting. You can't really do this with the Doctor anymore since Hurt passed on, but it would have been interesting if we'd had some. They may have done some finish with big finish with like Hurt. I don't know before he passed, but like where just some adventures of this is the war. This is the war. This is that sort of thing, or But you can't do much with Eccleston because we basically saw his entire incarnation because he looked like he had freshly regenerated when Rose. He was looking at the mirror and whatnot.
He freshly regenerated in Rose.
But he'd just done that right before he met Rose, so we saw all that, and we basically there's fewer gaps that you have an actor that you can put in there. You'd have to get somebody who was a John Hurt impersonator to do any big finish with the War Doctor, but that's not to say there's not enough of those out there, because I imagine, given his distinctive voice, there's plenty of people who have tried to mimic it. Like for
the first Doctor?
Yeah, well, I mean, just John Hurt in general.
Oh, John Hurt.
Yeah, because if you're going to do War Doctor stories, you need somebody who sounds like John Hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's such a distinctive voice that there's probably a lot of people who have tried to
I think for some of the War Doctor stuff, they used before he became the War Doctor.
Used McGann.
Yeah, they used McGann, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, you'd have to do that because, because Star Trek Online has used for voice acting for Scotty. Like Scotty's in there, but I think it's his son does an impersonation of him, which is pretty good. Well, and
the second Doctor, Big Finish, does second Doctor stories, and Fraser Hines actually does the voice acting for Troughton because he does a spot-on impersonation.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, at some point, with as many Doctors and the aging nature of the Doctors that they played, because we've got, I think, was it four on are still with us, aren't they?
Yes, except for Hurt.
Yeah,
the numbered ones, 4 through current, are still
with us. We don't have Pertwee, Troughton, or Hartnell, but we've got currently a replacement for Hartnell. That
Bradley something.
And then you said we got a Troughton, and I would expect at some point, if they haven't already, they've been looking for a Pertwee impersonator at some point.
Yeah, for a lot of those stories, like the first through third Doctor, most of what they do, though, is they tell it from the companion's point of view.
Yeah,
so it's more like an audio book than it is an actual full drama. They do have other cast members in there and the sound effects, but most of it is the companion telling the story.
Yeah. But I imagine with as much as they would like to have, people available for continuing stories, they're going to eventually find, a third Doctor, because now since those characters, people who have played them originally, have passed on, you can't get them back for it. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Well, there's Reanimation.
But so you can get people that look like them and sound like them to play the part, and I imagine with the BBC's reach, they can find somebody, and with the prestige of being in Doctor Who, and with the BBC's reach, they can find somebody who is similar enough that they're believable in the spot. It's not them. It's not Pertwee. They're dead, but they sound right, they look right, and if they wanted to do something with, something from the second or third Doctor, they could find somebody to be reasonably similar in sound and sight.
And it's especially that much easier for Big Finish because they do audios.
Yeah, so they don't even need that.
They don't even need to worry about what they look like.
Yeah, they just
have
to sound
right.
Yeah. But yeah, for like the main show, they have to worry about what they look like. But I imagine they could work that out if they really desired it. It would be a search, but they could probably find somebody close enough. And then that would be an interesting one to do. You know, the 13 doctors. You just have, you know, you have somebody from, you have all of the extant doctors show up, and then you have, you know, Bradley for one, and then you find a 2 and 3, and you bring everybody in. Well, and you couldn't bring in the War Doctor, but you could find somebody. You could find somebody. I guess you could, you know, say, okay, yes, we're replacing Hurt, but we're trying to do this as, you know, we're bringing all of the characters back. War 1, 2, 3, everybody is coming back in terms of characters. Those we can bring back that are living, we'll do that. Those we can't, we'll replace with people who look similar and sound similar, and we'll do our best to do that. I mean, getting the first Doctor, getting him into the series is sort of a, well, I know they've done it before. They've had other people play like the first Doctor after Hartnell was gone, but it wasn't. They
had for that stand-in. They were, I'm pretty sure, all, you know, stand-ins for the 50th anniversary at the very end, where he's
yeah, they already found people that look like them. It's just a matter of
voice coaching.
Yeah, voice coaching, or finding somebody else who sounds like them as well. But yeah, you could bring everybody back, or you could just you could have them wearing, I have an idea. It's really cool. Okay. This is getting way off topic of the thing, but it's a really cool idea. Okay. They're all brought to a room, okay? Some sort of spaceship or something, and there's poisonous gas in the air, okay? Well, they all go and grab little masks to cover their mouth to ventilate it, and then you have the you have the lookalikes go in there, and then you have the living doctors dub over their imposters. And it would work because you wouldn't have to worry about matching lip flaps because they're all wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's like, yeah, you could have them do that, but it would be really hard to match the lip flaps. Just cover their faces. How would you cover their faces? There's poisonous gas. It's brilliant. You could even have a few lines at the end that they're matching lip flaps on. You know, they're sort of speaking through them.
But if you do that, one of the doctors has to make the joke, "Are you my mommy?"
Oh no. That'd be that.
It has to be one of the later doctors.
Yes. Yeah.
I could definitely hear Capaldi going, "Are you my mommy?" Like,
which Eccleston just sort of goes.
And it's like, what? Why would you think that was funny?
And the doctors before Eccleston are all just confused as to what's going on. It's a later incarnation thing. Don't worry about it. You'll forget it by the time this is over. But yeah, that would be a really cool thing. But that would be a heck of a doing to get Tennant, Smith, Capaldi all available there, and get Eccleston if you could, and the imposters wouldn't be as hard to get, and just getting the living doctors to record wouldn't be that hard. They already do Big Finish. A lot of them already do Big Finish stuff, so just have them record their voice lines.
I think
with that.
Eccleston is going to be the hardest one.
Yeah, Eccleston would definitely be the hardest one, and getting somebody to, you wouldn't have to be the same person, but if you could find somebody that could sound like Hurt and look like Hurt, that would be good. But if you can't, you could get somebody that looks like Hurt and get somebody who sounds like Hurt, and have somebody who looks like Hurt be the part, and then somebody who sounds like Hurt do the voices, which would be much easier to come by, I think. Two separate people, one that looks and one that sounds. But
This
you
whole
could
thing
even
just
do
proves.
a younger War Doctor if you wanted to, and
Mhm.
say, "Oh no, this is what the War Doctor looked like when he was younger." You could just look at younger pictures of Hurt and go, "Yeah, that's what he looks like." All right, we'll find somebody who looks like a younger Hurt, because that might be easier to come by, because wrinkles and whatnot are harder to sort of
He-
copy.
He's always looked like that.
Well, at any rate, you could find somebody. He doesn't have to look exactly like Hurt did at the end of the 50th. He has to just look like Hurt at some point during his life. So your age ranges are a little more free, because we have a lot of time in there where you don't know what the War Doctor looks like. You know, it's like he looks like Hurt. He could be a young Hurt. He could be an older Hurt. Both are
And
fine.
the war did rage on for a long time.
Yeah, so the War Doctor could be anywhere. But yeah, most of them would be pretty easy to come by, I think. All the extant doctors love doing the stuff. A lot of them already go do Big Finish stuff. You know, the trick would be getting some of the more popular ones, like, you know, getting Tennant. I mean, he'd probably be not too hard to get. He's doing DuckTales, but that's all voice work, so
DuckTales, oh yeah.
he's probably doing, you know, he could probably make time for that, given that it's just recording. It would just be a matter
And
of getting
you have
everybody
done
together.
Big Finish before.
Yeah, so 10 could theoretically come back and do
And
that.
he did the 50th, so
Yeah. So
you know he's cool with coming back. It looks like.
yeah, so you got Tennant, you got Smith could probably still come back and do it. I don't know how much he's doing. Like he did like the Queen or something like that. He's in a
He did the Queen.
there was
Wow.
a Netflix series, or a series that was on Netflix. It was about early sort of Elizabeth II's early part of her reign, I think. Her wedding up until, you know, for a while, I think. I can't remember the title. It might have been like The Queen or something like that. And he's in that. But he probably still would have time to... It would just be a matter of getting everybody together. You don't have to worry much about like most of the living doctors, but you'd have to get Bradley. You'd have to get... you could probably still get McGann. McGann would still look young enough to play his part. He looked all right in that short.
The Night of the Doctor.
Night of the Doctor. Yeah, he looked fine in that. He could probably still play his part. Eccleston, that's gonna be really tricky. Tennant, probably could get him. He probably wouldn't have too terrible of a schedule. I don't know what all Smith is doing, but you could probably get him. Capaldi,
60th or something.
yeah, Capaldi he's probably not doing a lot. He's probably on the verge of just retiring and going, I've done Doctor Who. That was one of my lifelong checklist sort of things. I've been
really
the Doctor.
It really was, because there's a letter to Blue Peter from the 60s where he wrote, as a little kid, saying, when I grew up, I want to be the Doctor.
And he was. He
up to be the Doctor. So that really was his lifelong wish.
Yeah. So coming back for one episode, I'm sure he could swing it. Especially he's probably close to retirement on that, just because he's getting up there, and that's the reason his age is part of why he left when he did, was because I couldn't keep up with I could keep up with it, but it was all I could do to keep up with the scheduling. It's a very demanding job, and I didn't think I could keep up with it.
He started younger and finished older. I looked it up.
Okay, so technically he was the oldest Doctor. So he had the youngest Doctor at the end. At some point during his reign, he was the oldest Doctor to ever play the part. So,
well,
yeah,
my question is
at 59, and Hartnell finished at 58.
Yeah.
I
So,
have to do some math there.
but
my question is, have we talked about the episode at all?
a little bit. We talked about the Master being there, and we're talking,
That's about all we talked about, is the fact that it had the Master.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot to. It's basically it's very much the end of the show, like the end of this sort of the string. Everything sort of happens as you kind of expect in a way, in that everything sort of, they get defeated, they get Osgood free. Osgood free. Yeah,
you know, even Kate knows that, recognizes the Josh Good ship, because she
brought Bishop.
Huh?
She brought Bishop instead. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same emotional ties as Carter, who is going to have trouble if it push comes to shove, and you have to kill Osgood to save the world. Don't bring Josh. I don't want to do that. I desperately don't want to do that. But if I have to do that, I don't want to put Josh through that, and he would have a hard time doing it. Bishop would still have a hard time doing it, but nowhere near as bad as Josh.
Yeah. Because
especially with the way,
know if Josh would even be able to.
Yeah. Especially with the way the Master was like, oh yes, the damsel in distress, you've got something in your past that you let somebody down or something, and you want, that sort of thing, and it would weigh on you, and it still weighs on you, and he's picked up on that, and I would assume, having known him longer, Kate Stewart has as well, has realized, yeah, in this situation, I'm bringing Bishop because I don't want to put, number one, put Josh through that, and number two, whether he can actually perform what I need him to do. It's not a thing I want to happen. It's a last resort, but if it comes to that, I need somebody who I'm pretty sure could, they wouldn't like it, and it would be hard on them, but they could do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why she brought Bishop that time. It's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Josh, you're fantastic, but this is your emotional Achilles heel right here.
Yeah.
Well, let Bishop, who is not so vulnerable, take care of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh would still be mad. Oh, he would probably still be angry about it, and if it actually had come to pass, they needed to get rid of Osgood. He would be mad at Stewart and Bishop, but he would eventually understand. He would be mad, but he would understand.
And he probably would understand right away, but he would still be pissed.
Oh yeah. He would have that survivor's guilt of, well, you should have brought me along. I could have saved her. Which he probably couldn't have, but that's why. But at least the thing that needed to get done would have gotten done. We needed to stop Osgood. We stopped Osgood. It wasn't what we wanted to do by any stretch of the imagination, but it was what we needed to do.
Yep.
Also, Josh has so much faith in Osgood that even though he rationally knew that they went to potentially kill her, he says Osgood and Kate saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, Sam and Kate, or or the Master. No, his first name, the first name off his mouth is Osgood.
Osgood.
I did have one continuity error with this, though, because what happened? Last thing I remember. And then they start talking about things they shouldn't have known. Because if they didn't remember any of the stuff that happened when they were under the influence of the cyber controller, how did they know those little details? Like, especially Osgood with the...
I built it.
Yeah, I built it.
I should know I built it.
Yeah, and the area with the bad guys, not the Cybermen, the other bad guys, the auctioneers.
Yeah.
You know, she should not have known that information.
Yeah, it depends on which is true. Which of these is true? Do you remember what happened during Control, or do you? Or do you not remember what happened? One of the two. You can't have both.
Yeah, that's a continuity error.
But we've been going off on this. In fact, well, not the story itself, because it's pretty straightforward. The end. It's a pretty straightforward ending to the thing, other than the Master showing up. It's a fairly straightforward ending to the...
They tied it nicely together with the auctioneers.
Yeah. It's been tied up in a nice little bow. But it's about what you'd expect. And we talked about my weird idea for the 60th that might actually work. But it requires Eccleston to be available and not be still mad.
I don't know why he was such a dick about, like, Doctor Who.
Well, maybe some time has... I've seen him... I saw a picture of him and... was it Matt Smith hanging out? Like they were at a con or something and they were together at a table. I think it was Smith.
I mean, I understand he quit to avoid getting typecast, which, I mean, he gets typecast as an asshole instead, which I don't know which is worse.
Yeah, there was some other stuff behind the scenes, I think.
I would rather be typecast as the Doctor than typecast as, douchebag, but to each his own.
Yeah. I don't remember where I saw it, but I thought I saw him and Smith together at a con. Yeah, he's the. I could have sworn I saw him with somebody. He was with somebody, like, I think it was Smith, but it might have been somebody else. But it would be great to see. It would be great to see them all get there, and Eccleston is just probably the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of finding the imposters.
I'll get you, Eccleston.
So this cyber reality one, is it the last one of the unit?
So far, the next one comes out in November.
Okay, good. Because there's like some files on the thing that look like they're corrupted, so I was making sure it's the right one.
No, that was the last of the thing, the unit files.
Okay.
All right. Well, do you have any other final thoughts on Master of Worlds?
I am the Master. That does not compute.
I love the fact that they brought back his hypnosis. They never did that with the Sim Master.
Or for that matter,
Missy.
Missy.
Yeah, the new Who Masters never brought that into play, but he's a master hypnotist. Pun not intended.
But pun accepted.
Because it was really punny.
But he is a hypnotist, and in fact, a lot of his schemes involved psychological coercion. He would, that look into my eyes. I'm the master. You will obey me. Was
Say
actually
nice.
Yeah, she's say something nice, but he was, I am the master. You will obey me. Was his phrase for all. I know it was Delgado, but I think Ainley did that too. So the classic masters all had that hypnosis. And since this was before Sim's Master, I like the fact that they tied in a little bit of classic lore to it.
Anyway, I think we just about have exhausted our Doctor Who for the week. These reviews have turned into, here's a review of the episode, plus about 20 to 30 minutes of us going off on some fan tangent, a tangent, if you will, and coming up with something interesting. I'm really kind of proud of that idea for a 55th or a 60. I don't know when 55th is, but 60th definitely. That could definitely be a thing.
The 50th is this year.
That's this year. Okay, so we're definitely not getting a 55th. We might get a 60th.
Because it came out November 23rd, 1963.
All right. So, yes, we there's a definite chance we might get something in the 60th range. But that would be a cool way of doing it, I think.
They, let's see, they did, I think, a 10th anniversary, a 20th anniversary, a 25th anniversary, and a 50th.
Okay.
The 10th anniversary was the 3 Doctors. The 20th anniversary was the 2 Doctors, which was one of my favorites. It's the 2nd Doctor and the 6th Doctor. And then the
25th was the 5 Doctors?
Yeah.
I remember there was a 5 Doctors somewhere in there, so 25th seems reasonable.
Yeah, 25th was the 5 Doctors. And I think they did that with a replacement for the... No. I think it was the 5 Doctors was the 20th and the 25th was the 2 Doctors.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the 1,000 year anniversary.
Yeah, you're going to be long dead.
Nope, I'm a Time Lord.
You'd still be dead.
No, because he spent 11 spent 1,000 years on that planet.
Yeah, but because I would kill him.
Okay.
Are you the master?
No, I'm the Ronnie.
But you'd have to kill him a few times, though I suppose that's not really a problem.
No, because there are ways to stunt regeneration.
Yeah. But that's nowhere near as fun as just,
Yeah, there's a reason why the Doctor doesn't like pears.
What?
Yeah, and nasty.
Pears are delicious.
Yeah, just ask Big Mac's dad.
Interesting that 12 told 13, and never eat pears. Okay. You still have that thing against pears, huh? Though I suppose, you know, maybe that's one of those core things that survived a few regenerations.
No, you see, the reason why is they want to avoid any paradox.
Then they shouldn't have two places where they can park their boats.
They don't.
Exactly.
They avoid those pairs too.
What would you, if TARDISes had parking spots like on Gallifrey, like you park your TARDIS here, you know, if you had two spots right next to them, that would be a temporal paradox.
I don't think they call them docks.
Yes, but for my fun, for the pun, you've got to. Why wouldn't you? It's like these are our temporal docks. Well, here's a temporal paradox. And you got to imagine. You got to have a sense of humor. And you know, the whole monkeys with typewriters. Somebody would have thought of that joke and gone, "Oh yes, we call them docks. Why? Just so we can make that paradox joke." It's like the Barcelona. It's like it's a place where the dogs don't have noses. You'd be amazed how often that joke doesn't get old.
Really?
What?
The Barcelona thing doesn't get old?
No, the joke about the dog with no noses. Like, how does it smell? Terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't get old.
That's what Eccleston said. That's what Nine said was he was getting ready to regenerate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Eccleston.
Well, I remembered it. Yes, he said that's one of his last things he says before he regenerates. Like, go to Barcelona. Dogs with no noses. You'd be surprised how often that joke gets told, but it still doesn't get old or something to that effect. Yeah. My dog has no nose. How does he smell? Terrible. But I think we have about railed on this as much as we can.
Yeah.